Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Send Everything. Many years ago, I did all kinds of admin work at an oil terminal. One of my jobs was to take care of the documents. After vessels had been loaded, bills of lading would usually have to be couriered to a bank, so I'd take care of that as well. Now, I said bills of lading had to be couriered to a bank, but that's not entirely true. Every time a vessel would come to load, we'd receive a document distribution matrix. Originals of document X to be sent to A, copies to B, C and D, originals of document Y to be sent to B. You get the gist. I would usually completely ignore that matrix. I knew exactly who needed what, and I knew that the bank only cared about the bills of lading, so I just sent them those, and that was never a problem. That is, until someone new started at said bank and would complain about missing documents. Next time I added some more documents that I reckon might be vaguely relevant, but again they complained about missing documents. I'm still not sure why that was. Only the BL was relevant to them. But the next time a vessel was loaded, I was very happy to give them exactly what they wanted. The document distribution matrix was probably once drafted by someone who didn't know what they were doing, then ignored by everyone, so it never became a problem. In this case, however, I was going to need a bigger envelope. I followed the matrix to the letter. 1 original plus 4 copies, you got it. I was really happy, because I'd spotted the fatal flaw. For every chemical product, there's a material safety data sheet. They contain all sorts of information regarding safety of the product, and over time, they've become monstrosities. So here's what made me so happy. The matrix also mentioned 1 original and 4 copies of the data sheet, which was a 250 plus page document. There's absolutely no reason why the bank would need even 1 copy of it, but it was in the matrix, and I'd been told to follow the matrix. So I did. I printed it 5 times, copied all other documents 4 times, and ended up with a stack of over 1500 pages. The 3 original bills of lading, the only documents I knew the bank actually needed, went randomly into the stack. The person on the other side would have to go through that entire stack to find those 3 pieces of paper they really needed. I heard nothing from them. The next time I had to send documents to the bank again, I reverted to what I'd always sent to them. Again, silence. That's when I knew I'd won. From then on, everything was back to normal. The next story is called New Way to Sell. About 20 years ago, I used to work for a mobile phone company. It was in a student town in the UK. We were the second highest selling store in the country. The top sellers are in London. We had a great team from the manager on down. Around 10 of us. Could sell to anyone. If we couldn't close the sale, we would swap to another salesperson and they would have a go. I would get a lot of sales from the older generation, just because I took the time to sit down with them and explain exactly how the phone worked, how to text, how to make a call, etc. This was 2004. No iPhone, no touchscreens. Around summer, we had another store cover for us, as we went on a 3-day training course. They didn't tell us what it was about or anything. They put on a video for us, and it was something like, the new and better way to sell. Audible groans were heard. And one, we should be teaching them comment. A lot of corporate mumbo jumbo went on in this course. With these techniques you will sell. We were told what we could say and what we couldn't say to customers. We couldn't ask someone, how are you today? Because they could be having a bad day. Couldn't say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry in the UK is a phrase that you say basically for any bad news. We had to read off a sheet and ask questions off that sheet. A colleague of mine came up with an idea. Basically, what he would do is read through the sheet as fast as he could. He got very good at it, and within a couple of weeks, the whole store could read that sheet from memory. This wasn't a terms and conditions sheet or anything important. It was something like, first, greet customers using this phrase. Second, find out why customers are in the store. Third, did the customer say yes 3 times? We had to fill out this form each time and attach it to the contract if we sold a phone. This guy got fast. he could do the sheet in like 5 seconds. He would basically grab a customer and just say to them, I have to follow the sheet, and show it to the customer, then rattle through it while the customer is looking at the sheet. He would then say to the customer something like, now that I've fulfilled my obligation, then go back to what would work for him normally. That sheet lasted less than 3 months. We started printing already filled out sheets to speed things up. Throughout the company, sales went down, as people weren't allowed to be themselves. It was like the way call centers are now, one off a script. Nobody wants to buy from a robot. The last story is called Tenant from Hell. I used to work as a property manager for a semi-large investment firm. I was in charge of several apartment complexes, which included a 55+ Section 8 complex. One tenant in the complex had been a royal pain all the time. He had a habit of calling the city inspection department anytime he had a problem in his apartment, instead of filling out a work order to get faster service. 300 unit building, so if it was a minor issue, it would be first come first serve for non-emergency or safety issues. He actually called the city once for a dirty outlet cover. On this occasion, I got a visit from the inspector because his patio door was not functioning. This I would definitely consider a safety issue. So I immediately went up to his unit with the inspector in tow. The inspector had been there before coming to see me and confirmed the door was stuck in the open position and would not close. But I thought it was a bit odd that he had 2 doors, which confused me a little, since each unit only has 1 patio. Upon entry, we go to the patio, and sure enough, there are 2 patio doors. The tenant had been there long before I started working there, so this was the way it was long before me, and he had floor-to-ceiling curtains, which obscured the second door, which was always in the open position, yet hidden from view. When I entered, I clearly saw a door that seemed perfectly fine. I go over to the working door and test to see that it is sliding and locking properly, and it is, and ask the inspector what seems to be the problem. He points out the door behind the curtains, which I now clearly noticed. It had been slid into the open position and was not obstructing the egress at all. It seems that prior to me, someone installed a new door, but never removed the old one. They just extended the frame, which in effect fixed the problem in a bad way. But in my opinion, it was a working door and not a safety issue, which the inspector agreed with. The problem was that we have a city code that clearly states any door must be in working condition, regardless of it is used or not. The inspector said I either have to fix or remove the door, and gives me a 5-day compliance order. By chance, I had a crew remodeling the unit across the hallway, and as the inspector was filling out the order, I went to the other unit, asked one of the guys to use the small and sawzall. I went back into the tenant's apartment and proceeded to smash out the glass, and started cutting the aluminum door with the sawzall, and had the door busted out in less than 5 minutes, making a mess in the process, all while the inspector was filling out his paperwork, and the tenant was watching in complete shock. I turned to the inspector and asked, does it now comply? He sort of chuckles and says, legally, yes it does. And I say, good, problem solved. And he agrees and signs off on the order. I had the guys across the hall clean up the mess and went with the inspector back to my office. In the elevator, he says he'd never seen something like that before, but since he was about as fed up with this guy always bugging them as I was over minor infractions, he thought it was a hilariously creative solution, albeit not a very nice way to go about it. Not long afterward, the tenant got arrested and got a jail sentence and became late on rent, which gave me the perfect excuse to evict him. Where I live, the sheriff is required to remove belongings after an eviction, but the items that he takes have a limit to a set value. They leave behind anything under the value threshold, so it's up to me and my crew to haul out the junk. While one of the guys was cleaning out his bedroom closet, he found a box. It was full of evidence for more charges. I called the sheriff's back, and they took it to tack on to his jail time. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.